everybody to the burn. I am Ryan Van Deaver here, one and only podcast host of Hot Zone Sports, The Burn. Welcome in. Today we have a special guest, but let me introduce him to you first. He is the Wichita Wind Surge GM, Matt Hamilton. He has been in minor league baseball for a little while now. He was a previous with the Amarillo Sod Poodles and the Scranton Rail Riders, and that was in AAA. He brings several accomplishments to the Wichita Wind Surge. This is his second season as the general manager, including record business growth for the Rail Riders in his 2 seasons with the club. Before his life in minor league baseball, Matt worked in broadcast television business for 7 years, where he served in many capacities, but mainly as a sports anchor and morning show news anchor. He attended West Texas A&M University, where he was a member of the Buffaloes baseball team, and he majored in sports broadcasting. He enters his second season, like I said, as the general manager after joining the club in 2024, as he assumes the sole leadership role for this organization. Hamilton brings a wealth of experience. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Welcome in, Mr. Matt Hamilton. How's it going?
Doing good. Thanks for such a good intro, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So, what's it like being able to kind of switch careers from being a sports anchor to minor league baseball GM?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, certainly a little bit of a path between the two. You know, coming out of or when I was in college, obviously, my focus was around broadcast journalism, and that was something I really wanted to do whenever I became a grown up, and so I was able to achieve that goal right out of school. And after 6 or 7 years of being on and off the road and the life that is being in the sports journalism world, I mean, it can be pretty taxing and pretty time consuming. And not that my current career isn't time consuming, but it was certainly time consuming in a different fashion, to say the least. But no, it was something that I really loved to do, and I enjoyed my time while I was doing it. But in the long run, after being in it, you kind of get a feeling about things, and I just knew that's not 100% where my heart was, and I wanted to get back closer to the game of baseball and be a little bit more involved with it, and so I started looking for opportunities to get kind of a pivot in my career, and I was able to land with the Amarillo Sod Poodles. Thankfully, I caught on there before we announced the name, really. I kind of caught on there whenever we were still just a hole in the ground as the stadium was still being built. And so I got to see and learn a lot of stuff really fast, and learned from a great general manager in Tony Enzer. And he kind of helped. He took me under his wing and definitely helped me kind of get some direction and some idea of things that we needed to do to be a successful organization and launch a successful brand. And we were able to do some stuff that, it'll be hard to ever be part of some of those things ever again, just because of how crazy and fun and wild that was. But yeah, no, it was certainly just a shift in focus and a shift in passion. And I've always been, very much so involved with the game of baseball. My dad was a high school football and baseball coach, so I knew that I wanted to be around sports in general as a grown up. And so the fact that I was able to do that in a journalistic fashion, and then now as an everyday, day-to-day career, it was just something I knew that I wanted to be a part of, and I found my way in.
That's awesome, man. So the season starts on April 4th against the Springfield Cardinals. So leading up to this point, what has life been like as the GM of the Wind Surge in your second season?
Yeah, just a really busy off season. There's a lot that goes into putting on a single event, let alone 69 of them. And so there's a lot of plans and preparation that have to be made in order to make sure that this year goes off correctly. Obviously a lot of marketing and advertising plans are laid out and promotions plans so that we can draw interest from the fans from a fan entertainment perspective, season ticket sales and management, and trying to make sure that we're putting as many bodies in the stadium as we possibly can throughout the course of the summer. All of our partnerships and the development of all of that. So, I mean, there's certainly a lot that goes in personnel stuff. So there's a lot that goes into an off season, and it takes, not just myself, but every single person we have in our front office in order to get everything, put together and steered in the right direction. But yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, it's very busy. Most folks think that end season's the busiest time of the year for us. And to some degree, when you look at it an hours dedicated perspective, it is, because obviously games can add a lot of hours to our schedules. But in all actuality, the off season is probably where we are the busiest. And so, yeah, I mean, anytime you've got cyclical cycles throughout the year, but this is one that definitely was a lot busier than years past. So it feels like, at least. So yeah, no, we've done a lot of really good work. We put together what we feel is a really strong plan for this season. We're excited to get it going.
Yeah, I bet it's it could be pretty crazy, especially just working for a minor league team. People probably don't realize all that goes into it, but the Wind Surge will open at home on April 8th after that first stand with the Cardinals. That first game is set for 6:35. Everybody, and they will be facing off against the Midland Rockhounds. Can they still get their tickets, or is it a packed house already?
No, I mean, tickets are still available, but certainly going fast. We do have quite a few already sold, which is a good thing, obviously. But at the same time, there's always an expectation that there's going to be a walk-up crowd, and so we anticipate that being the case this year. But we moved some of our earlier game times in the season up to 6:35 to try to give opportunity for families to get to games so that they can not get home super late. Certainly in years past, starting at even just 7:05, it just is hard to manage bedtimes. I have two little kids, so I get it. And so our efforts to try to, while school is still in session, move the times up just even a little bit to help hopefully get families out to the ballpark and get them home a little bit earlier. And then obviously opening night, there's always the excitement around opening night. We've got a flyover coordinated where we have a post-game fireworks show. We have a magnet schedule, giveaway for those who want to keep up with our season and have it readily available right there on their fridge. So yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of good stuff and a lot of good reasons for fans to get out and enjoy the game.
Yeah, that first game is going to be ridiculous. And the cool thing is I'm probably 5-10 minutes away from the stadium, but I do know for a fact that I might want to leave a couple hours early due to parking.
Yeah, and I mean, parking's always a challenge when you're in a downtown ballpark. We put together some good partnerships with some of the surrounding folks that are around us, and we were able to get a few more parking spaces secured. So, yeah, I mean, parking will be, something that folks always need to be conscious of. But the good thing is we do have a good amount of it, so it hopefully won't become too much of an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like the March Madness that was going on over last weekend.
Of course, yeah.
So, can you expand a little bit on the new promotions? Because I saw online, it was a little while back about the new promotions.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're doing a couple of different things this year. So we tried a few things last year that didn't necessarily work. Being a good example being we tried a Wine Wednesday promotion. It didn't really land all that well, and that's okay. Sometimes you do stuff that doesn't work. But one thing we did see traction with were our Bark in the Park nights. So we expanded that to all of our evening Wednesday games. So they're called Wet Nose Wednesdays now, and you can bring dogs and sit in the outfield lawn and bring your four-legged friends to the games. One thing that we wanted to focus on was establishing fan consistency as far as expectations go. And so everybody already knew Fridays were fireworks, but last year Saturdays were kind of hit or miss on what we were offering. And so the one thing fans can expect every single Saturday is we'll have a giveaway for the first 2,000 fans every single Saturday. Along that same breath, we wanted to level up what our promotions were going to be. So we decided to bring 3 bobbleheads into the giveaway rotation this year. Some of the things that we're doing as far as on some of those theme nights with Dodge, Duck, Dip, Dive, and Dodge night, we're going to bring in one of the actresses from the movie Dodgeball to celebrate the evening. It's the movie's 20th anniversary. So we're bringing in Missy Pyle, who played one of the Globo Gym Purple Cobras, Fran. She was on the team in the movie and has also had a phenomenal career as an actress as well. And so she'll be doing VIP meet and greets and taking photos and signing autographs. And we're going to do the same on American Workplace Night when we bring in Kate Flannery, who played Meredith Palmer on the show The Office, and she will do VIP meet and greet. And then the bobblehead that night is actually of Kate Flannery as Meredith Palmer. So that'll be a couple of fun, unique differences. We have the amazing Tyler Balancing Act coming the weekend of August 9th and 10th. That guy is known for balancing ladders on his face and all sorts of other different things. So, I mean, we really wanted to bring excitement for fans that they've never seen in Wichita before. We have SpongeBob night. We're doing Harry Potter night. We've added fireworks shows, so we're shooting more fireworks shows this year than we have before. We're doing 3 college hat giveaways on Thursday nights on some different dates. One will be a Wichita State, one will be KU, one will be K-State. So, I mean, we've really trying to give fans a reason to be here outside of just the baseball itself. I mean, our goal is to always drive a top-notch fan experience, and anytime we can give fans something, just one little thing that they've never seen before or had before from going to a baseball game, then we've certainly achieved our goal. And so we've really bolstered up our promotions calendar as much as we could to try to give fans as much as we can.
Yeah, that's awesome because I know a lot of people, especially kids, when they're getting ready to go to the game and they get like a free shirt, or even me when I was a kid, when it was the Wichita Wranglers, as a magnet, you hold on to that magnet with your dear life.
Sure.
So bobblehead dolls, that was awesome. I mean, I actually remember taking my kids to a Wingnuts game, and there's like a dual bobblehead doll, which was pretty cool, and they still hold on to them like they're gold. So. But moving on, the Wind Surge, they made some changes to their coaching staff over the offseason with Ramon Borrego. He got promoted to the Minnesota Twins MLB staff. The Wind Surge did make some additions to the coaching staff, starting with new manager Brian Dinkelman, a veteran of the Twins organization. Dinkelman has managed High A Cedar Rapids for the past 5 seasons. He will be joined by the staff by pitching coaches Ryan Ricci and Jesus Sanchez, hitting coaches Andrew Cressy and Yeson Perez. Dinkelman, who is entering his 11th season with the Twins organization, talk about loyalty, he arrives in Wichita after leading the Cedar Rapids to 4 playoff appearances over his 5 seasons as manager. In 2023, he earned Baseball America Minor League Manager of the Year honors after guiding the Colonels to a 78-58 record and the Midwest League Championship. You could go on and on about his accolades, but the other additions, Ryan Ricci, he's entering his 2nd season in the Twins organization and 1st season with the Wind Surge. He spent last season as a pitching coach for the Single A Fort Myers. Under his guidance, the Mighty Muscles Arms, man, you gotta love these minor league names, right? Well, they posted a 4.13 ERA, which was 5th best in the Florida State League. Pitching coach Jesus Sanchez, and he enters his third season with the Twins organization. He spent 2024 season coaching with the Florida Complex League Twins. He racked up 410 strikeouts over a 15-year minor league career from 2008 to 2022, making it as high as the AAA level. But speaking on all of these coaches, how do you feel that all of these additions is going to affect the Wind Surge? Because for the past couple of seasons, the Wind Surge have kind of been teetering on 500 and below 500.
Yeah. So I mean, well, first off, nothing but hats off to Ramon. He's the man. If you ever met him, the guy is he's a kind and genuine individual and super cool. And I had a chance to see him a couple weeks ago in Florida, and he's so excited, and we're excited for him. Just one of my favorite people in the game. And then I had a chance to chat with Brian and get to know him a little bit more. And in all actuality, I mean, from a management style, it sounds that Ramon and Dink are very similar in the way that they operate and the way that they go about their relationships with players. And so we shouldn't see much of a change from that perspective. Especially a guy who's been with the Twins for so long and understands their way of doing things and the philosophy that they have as an organization. So now Dink will be really cool. We're excited to have him here in Wichita and excited for, what he brings to the game. And then the coaches, it's a majority new staff. Obviously, Jason was with us last year. He's a great man, very cool guy. Certainly will be fun to have him back around the clubhouse. But I mean, in all actuality, I mean, anytime you have a coaching staff who is completely aligned with the organization and the way that they want to do stuff and the way that they manage players, and then you're in pretty good shape. Obviously the Twins have one of the top minor league farm systems in all of baseball for a reason. They do a great job with scouting, drafting, and developing players. And so I don't expect any real changes from that perspective. Record wise, obviously it's tough. Anytime you're in minor league baseball, you could get really hot and then the best player in your lineup goes up to AAA or to the big leagues. So, and that can have a dramatic effect on how your team performs. And so, I mean, it's hard to really look at a season as a whole. You kind of have to take little bites and little snapshots of it. Because in reality, if you look at us from May until the end of the year, we had, the best ERA or second best ERA in the entire Texas league, so from a pitching staff perspective. So, you kind of, when it comes to minor league baseball, you don't really try to ignore the overall record and kind of just take it in chunks and see how is the team performing, because ultimately our job, is to, our job in the front office is to, put fans in the stands and create experiences and memories, and the players, their job is to develop to the best of their ability and get up to the next level. We love it for those guys when they get moved up. Obviously that is their end goal. They want to be big league players. And so, there's development that has to happen. And not to mention, we were pretty young last year, and the toughest level of development is the AA level. The jump from high A to AA is just leaps and bounds different from any other level. And so, we had a lot of guys who were on that 2023 championship team in Cedar Rapids. And obviously some of those guys had really good years last year, and some of those guys, certainly had tough times, but there was, pieces of the season where they played really, really well. And so you kind of just you break apart the good parts and see how you replicate it and just try to put the bad behind you. But no, all in all, we're excited about the coaching staff. We're excited about the players.
So the Wind Surge last season, they had the fifth best attendance in the Texas League,
sure,
which is now I can't call it the park that I want to call it. It's Equity Bank Park now. So how do you think that can be continued to build on? Because they had an overall of 301,000 in attendance on the season.
No, I mean, and that's really and truly where a lot of these marketing and promotional efforts come into effect. I mean, the one thing that you find when it comes to having conversations with fans about minor league baseball is most of the time, they're not really diehard baseball fans. They're just families who are looking for opportunities to get out and do something as a family and do it affordably. And so that's what we offer. We offer affordable family fun. And whether you're a baseball fan or not, which is usually the case for about 50% of the family that's here, dad will be a fan, or, the kids will be fans, and, moms will be a diehard fan, or the dad won't be, or, it's kind of a mix. It doesn't really matter. In the family, somebody in the family typically is not the biggest baseball fan. And that's where the entertainment factor comes in. We try to give people a reason to be here that's not just baseball centric. We want to focus around, the on-field promotions we do in between innings. We want to do, fun stuff that has to do with, the pregame, the postgame, whether it's the fireworks or the giveaways, any of those things that we can do to really draw interest from people who maybe aren't a baseball fan, but get them through the doors. And then that tells you we've done our job. And so we feel like, we've got a really solid approach to that this year. And we feel like it's only going to get better year over year. And so we think this year will be better than last year, and we think next year will be better than this year.
So speaking on Equity Bank Park, I saw the other day they're hanging up the big sign. That was awesome.
Yeah.
talk about a time delay there. But for those who haven't been to Equity Bank Park, can you explain what the stadium offers for all ages, like kids, teens, adults?
Yeah, well, the adults are easy. We have bars and food. So that we check the adult boxes pretty quickly, especially with our Pump House edition last year in the outfield. When it comes to the teenagers, we actually have some new additions this year. We're adding what we're calling the Velocity Zone, which is a batting tunnel with a hit track system inside of it. So, you can come and take swings inside of the tunnel, and it'll show you it'll show your exit velocity, your launch angle, all those things, but it'll also tell you where the ball would have been in play. And you can choose any one of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums to virtually hit inside. And so that's fun for teens to be a part of. Obviously, one of the things that teens want to do is walk around. We've got a full 360 concourse so they can all walk around and chat and do whatever it is that teenagers do. I haven't been one in a long time, so I'm not really up to snuff with that.
I'm right there with you.
but for little kids, we're expanding our kid zone. We added a playground last year. We still have the little kids basketball court. We actually went out and purchased some new inflatables. We have a new 22-foot inflatable slide that kids can go down. Teenagers too, obviously. We have bounce houses. We have a speed of pitch, kind of a skee ball type game. So we've really we've invested some money into trying to create even more opportunities for kids to be entertained and for parents to be able to still see the game while their kids are going on, some of the inflatable rides and things like that. So no, I mean, we try to offer something for all ages and make sure that, if you're a baseball purist and you come just for the baseball, you can certainly do that. But if you're not and you want to be entertained, we've got all of that, covered as well. And so, yeah, I mean, we're doing our best to make sure that this is an affordable, family-friendly venue that is, open for everybody in the community who wants to be a part of it.
So speaking on Equity Park, that was the biggest story of the off season for me. The Riverfront Stadium is no more. This is going to be a 1.5 decade partnership.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to have this partner right alongside you in the Wind Surge?
Yeah. So anytime you can find somebody who is willing to commit to a 15-year partnership, there's obviously a lot that goes into it. But, one of the things that we identified pretty quickly whenever, I started the conversations with them back in April of last year was their commitment to the community of Wichita and their commitment to, really and truly making sure that we are utilizing the stadium to its fullest. They want special events here. They want to see good baseball. They want it to remain a affordable venue. And anytime you can have partners who make the financial investment that someone does at that level, it allows us to keep costs low. It allows us to spend more money on higher quality giveaways and more special events, and to purchase things that, like expanding kid zones, things like that. So anytime you have a partner who can commit to that, it certainly makes your operation a lot easier to operate, but also makes it to where you can put more into the organization and put a few more things out, so that you're not killing people in their wallet, which is our goal. I'm a dad. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, soon to be 4 and 2. My wife and I are always looking for stuff to do. And, if stuff's, too expensive, we won't go do it. And so if we can find ways to make sure that, that's never an issue for our fans, that they can come to a game and afford to be here, then we're in good shape. And that was an idea and a thought process that Equity shared with us. And so we feel like we've landed on what is an unbelievable partner to, walk side by side for the next 15 years. And we're excited for, all the changes that are coming to the ballpark. You mentioned the signage that's going up. We're excited to get a full club redesign. That'll be rebranded the Vault at Equity Bank Park. And so it's going to have some kind of bank vault graphics that look really cool. And we're going to have some new super graphics that have a little bit more of a Wind Surge touch to them, as far as photos of players and prospects and things like that. So, really and truly, there's going to be a few material changes to the ballpark this year. And but ultimately, it's kind of just the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be a lot more things to come in the coming years.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably going to help with promotions and actually bringing in some concerts. But speaking about some concerts, a big part of the stadium when it was built was that it was going to be used for a venue for other events. We recently saw KU in Omaha. They came and played. Are there any future events coming to Equity Bank Park?
Yeah, so last October we actually activated our first concert. We went with the Kansas local and Logan Mize, and we were looking for somebody that would help us kind of kick off our concert, opportunities. And realistically, special events is something that I'm very passionate about. My previous stops along the way, I've been a part of concerts, I've been a part of Nitro Circus, been a part of symphonies, comedy shows. We had the fully loaded comedy tour with Bert Kreischer come through my previous property. So, we've seen and done some really cool things along the way. And so that's something that I'm certainly working on activating. We do have a couple of things in line that we're not ready to announce yet, but some stuff that will happen in the season this summer. And so we're excited to get those announced, but certainly with a marketing game plan and rollout. But contracts are already signed for these things. And so we're excited to communicate them out when the appropriate time comes. But we do have some stuff coming this summer that we're excited about. Same with this fall. So obviously just keep your eye on all of our social medias and on windsurge.com. And when those announcements are made and when tickets are on sale for those events, you'll be able to find them pretty easily.
Absolutely. We do have one question here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is Bert Kreischer really a fan?
Bert Kreischer is a huge fan of minor league baseball in general. So I had a chance to spend some time with him just in conversation, and he is just a sports guy. So I actually threw him batting practice because all he wanted to do was hit in the cages. He just wanted to work out, hit in the cages, and have fun. Like he's a big kid, a very genuine individual, very, very nice. For anybody who has anything negative to say about him, it's certainly unfound. He is really, really nice guy. He does stuff that isn't even seen by the public for people that are traveling with him, for staff. He's just a genuinely nice individual. And so, he loves the game of baseball. Actually has a really good swing, played in high school. And, so that was fun to see. But yeah, he loved it whenever he stopped at the ballpark, and he has so many minor league baseball hats because he's a genuine fan of minor league baseball and of the game of baseball. And he jokingly will laugh because he wears a size 8 hat, which he knows every team will always have because no one ever buys them because of the size of the hat. But no, he's a nice guy, great guy. Really enjoyed getting to know him even just a little bit. And so, no, he's a big fan of minor league baseball, and we have a couple of snapshots of him wearing a Wind Surge hat, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. I've never met Bert Kreischer. I've just seen his comedy shows, and they're just absolutely crazy. We'll do one more question. I'm not sure he's going to be able to answer this question, SGA for MVP, but we'll show it anyway.
Okay.
How many wins this season?
Oh man, good. I'll take your answer.
Yeah,
Not one I can answer.
yeah. I will say that the Wind Surge looked really good on paper. Offensively, they got great pitching. They got some good players. Walker Jenkins being one. I mean, they definitely got some good players, and it's. I think the sky is the limit for this team. I think they got everything they need, but it's minor league baseball. You don't know how quickly Walker Jenkins is going to get called up. You don't know, Luke Keaschall. There's multiple players, Connor Prielipp, like CJ Culpepper. You just don't know how often these players are going to get called up. But one question that was brought to my attention this week at work, and I'm not sure how, if you're going to be able to answer this question.
Sure.
What goes into, like, let's say the Twins say we're going to call up so and so player,
Mhm.
do they call you? Do they call the manager? Like, how's that work?
Nope. Typically they just make that decision, and we'll make the coaching staff aware. And we typically will find out a little in advance, but not super far in advance. Typically we have kind of embargoed timing in which we can make announcements, because there's a few coinciding roster moves that have to be made as well. But yeah, no, I mean, it's usually pretty well communicated for us, but typically for a guy to get the call up, from here to AAA, or even to the big leagues directly from here, obviously that's a pretty special moment. So they will usually let the manager know in advance, so that he can have that moment with that player.
Yeah, that's that's got to be one heck of a moment. So,
Oh, most definitely.
man, let's move on to some players that probably that he's the third best prospect according to many metrics. Walker Jenkins, from all reports, this kid is a monster. Has his path been determined yet?
Nothing yet. I mean, obviously he ended the season with us last year. The anticipation is that he'll be with us, and so I would guess that he'll be here. We haven't gotten a finalized roster yet, as they're continuing to break apart the minor league guys from spring training. But Walker is, he was the number 5 overall pick for a reason. He's the number 3 overall prospect for a reason. He's an incredible talent and an incredible prospect, and obviously we're fortunate to get him into a Wind Surge uniform for however long we can get him. But at the same time, I mean, these guys, they move it at a pace at which A, their performance allows, or B, the organization decides. So I mean, in my history, I've seen top prospects be with organizations for as little as 10 games. My previous stop, I was the assistant GM for the AAA affiliate of the New York Yankees. And, we were excited to get Jason Dominguez because we thought that, he was going to be with us for a long time. He was with us for 7 home games, and then he was a New York Yankee. We were excited to have Anthony Volpe. We had him for 20 games, and he was a New York Yankee. We were excited to have Austin Wells. He was with us for 30 games, and he was a New York Yankee. I mean, these guys they're in and out, especially if they're on the top prospect list and perform well. And so we hope for Walker's sake, obviously for us selfishly as an organization, we'd love for him to be here all year, because that it does well for the baseball fans out there and those who want to see, a guy like that perform. But in actuality, I mean, we're rooting for him to be here for as little time as possible, because that means that he moved up to AAA or up to the big leagues in Minnesota. And so, it's kind of a catch-22. You root for these guys to be so good, and you never know how long you're going to have them. And a guy like Walker, it's such an unknown.
Yeah, I mean, for the audience who doesn't really know anything about Walker Jenkins,
Sure.
he's the former 5th overall pick in the 2023 draft. But, last season in single A and high A, he hit 283, 394, and 450. But when he was called up, he didn't have a lot of at bats. It was 25 at bats. He went 4 for 25, 160 during his 6-game audition with AA.
Sure.
It could have been an adjustment period going from high A to AA. It can be quite an adjustment, don't you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at the fact, he's a 19-year-old who had spent some time in Fort Myers, spent some time in Cedar Rapids, and in all actuality, they were just looking to get him some at bats. Single A season ends, a couple days before ours, and so they just moved him up to give him an opportunity to get some at bats at the AA level and extend his season a little bit longer. And he knows what he's doing. He's the 5th overall pick for a reason, and the number 3 overall prospect for a reason. He knows what he needs to do. And, you never know what guys are working on either. If you ever see like a major league guy who does a rehab assignment and he comes and throws and he gets hit all over the place by, a AA lineup, what most people don't realize is sometimes those guys come down and they just throw straight fastballs an entire game. And for guys at any level to just sit dead red fastball, but really all they're trying to do is just get work. And so, for Walker, that, a lot of it was just getting eyeballs on, AA pitching and seeing what that looks like firsthand, and, continuing to work on, making adjustments at the plate and things like that. I mean, he's a big league caliber prospect and obviously caliber athlete. So really it's all just making adjustments so that he can get there.
Yeah. I mean, he's just, I can see a lot of great things for this kid. From all the reports that I've read, one thing that he really needs to work at is his raw power. He's more of a contact hitter. But let's just go ahead and move on to Luke Keaschall. As you saw in the video, he was with the Twins in the spring. How are things going for him since he's had the Tommy John surgery?
Good, as far as I know. It sounds like he had a good spring. He broke camp with AAA St. Paul, so he's making his way through. But Luke's one of those guys that the ball just sounds different when it hits his bat, and you foresee a good career for that young man. No matter he's gonna, no matter what position he's playing, no matter where it's at, he's got a big league bat, and I would imagine that he'll probably have a really good career. He's a hard worker. He busted. Very nice young man. He obviously had 2 years at San Francisco and then went over played at Arizona State, one of the top programs in the country. And, he was a draft pick, I think 2023 as well. And so the fact that he's advanced as fast as he has in his career speaks to the type of prospect he is and the type of performance he's had. But no, Luke's a great guy and a good athlete. And, we hope that we never see him again in Wichita, because it just means that he's had a wonderful career.
Yeah. Keaschall, he did make a strong impression against major league spring competitions by hitting a home run. He had 813 OPS while playing DH and pitch hitting, but it's looking more like he's going to be playing a lot more second base. But really, when it comes to Keaschall, this past season, he had 20 starts at second base, 16 starts at center field, 13 starts at first base, and then 53 starts as a DH. He's obviously a well-rounded player. Is he going to have like a mainstay position, or is it going to be like much of last season?
I mean, that's something that'll be determined by the Twins ultimately, and a lot of those things are genuinely, based on need at the big league level. And if he's the best guy to play second base in the big leagues, he'll be that guy. If he needs to play first, that'll be it. If he needs to play outfield, that'll be it. And I'm sure that whatever he can do to help the big league organization win games is exactly what he'll do.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to Connor Prielipp. What can you tell us about this left-handed pitcher? He's ranked Twins number 5 best prospect, but he's had an extensive injury history, 2 left elbow surgeries since 2021. Is he going to begin the year pitching at AA?
Again, we don't have our roster yet, so I don't know where he's going to break camp, but I would venture to guess that he'll be here at some point this season. If he doesn't break with us, I would imagine he will be here at some point. But again, that's just something that's to be determined. We'll probably know within the next week or so.
Okay. And CJ Culpepper, he had an up and down year last year, but he had a strong finish, which helped paint a positive outlook for this season. What makes Culpepper special as a left-handed pitcher?
Just bulldog attitude. You put somebody on the mound who goes after people, throws a lot of strikes, you're going to usually see success. I mean, you'll get hit a little bit. That's the nature of the game. People are supposed to hit the ball, but he definitely can take. He takes the ball with the mindset that he's going to go out there and just throw strikes and get after guys. And if you look at just Twins prospects in general on the mound, that's pretty well the identity that a lot of those guys have.
Okay, we do have another question here.
I see the question. Royce Lewis was not with me while I was here. Okay. He came through in 2023. However, I have had a chance to meet him whenever I was at spring training, and he is incredibly nice. And the one thing that I will say, and this isn't me saying anything about any other organization that I've been a part of, but in general, and I've said this to Twins, higher ups, their general manager, their player development guys, they genuinely draft some of the most high character, nicest individuals that I've met in the game of baseball. There is not a single guy on our roster who isn't just a hold the door for you kind of kid who won't be genuinely nice to you. And I mean, they really do draft very high character, very nice, very professional young men. And so I could say that across the board for any prospect. They've all been incredible.
Okay. Now, back to Culpepper, I did want to say a little something about him. The thing that I really like about him, like his arsenal is deep. I don't know how many pitches are in his arsenal, but it's got to be at least 6, maybe even 7. He's able to look like a completely different pitcher versus lefties than against righties, and he can shape shift as an outing progresses to flash different offerings. He's protected the first time through. I just really hope that he can get his injuries under control, but there's no way to predict that. I just hope that Culpepper, that he's given a fair shake. One last player, and this is for all you K-State fans out there. Kaelin Culpepper. No, he's not related to CJ. What can you tell us anything about him?
I mean, other than the fact that he went to K-State and was a first-round pick, not a lot. I know that they think very highly of him, obviously having spent a first-round pick on him. Mm-hmm. And I know that he's very talented and was a very solid shortstop, and that he finished the year in Cedar Rapids last year. My ventured guess would be that he's going to have a solid first year as a pro. The hard part for these guys, especially draft picks, is they start the college season in January, and then they play their entire college season, get drafted in July, then play all the way through September. And so it's a lot of baseball all right in a row. And so I'm sure, for any prospect who gets drafted, it's a grind. And so we're excited, and we'll be happy to have him when he gets here. Obviously, the K-State tie is big geographically for us, and there's a lot of Wildcat fans in this market. So I think it'll be fun when he is here to be able to play that up quite a bit from a marketing and advertising perspective. But at the end of the day, again, the same thing I say for all of these guys is I hope that when he is here that he's successful, and I hope that he's not here for very long, because then that just means that his career has advanced positively and he's making his way up the ladder and well on his way to a big league career. I mean, that's what we want for every single one of these guys. I know it sounds like a broken record and a preloaded answer, but it's a genuine, thought and feeling. Like, there's not a person on our staff who wants players to be here year over year. We want guys to move on and get to the big leagues and have good careers, because going back to what I said a moment ago, I mean, these guys are so nice and so cool and so just, such good human beings that you want the best for them. And Kaelin Culpepper will fall right in with that same group and that same sentiment.
Great show, guys, from Braves to Lifer. Great show. Everybody's loving the show. Yeah. Absolutely. But I think this is where we're going to end the show. Would you like to send your socials out where everybody can follow the Wind Surge at again?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we are at Wind Surge ICT, which is, our same handle across the board on whether it's Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, TikTok. So Wind Surge ICT is the best way to stay up with everything that we're doing. You'll get player content. You'll get goofy TikTok videos from our front office staff. You'll get final scores. You'll get information about special events that are coming. So that's how we communicate everything that we do. So be sure and check us out there.
Go ahead and give the Wind Surge a follow, especially if you want to see any funny videos from their mascot, because I saw one today. It just cracked me up. And actually, there was another video on TikTok where you see how hard the staff works for Mr. Matt Hamilton.
If you look at that video, that you can see me in the background pulling that tarp right along with everybody else.
Yeah, they're doing the dance, and they were seeing if this is what Matt Hamilton expects for hard workers.
Yeah, no, we have a great staff, a lot of fun individuals. They're from all over the country. We've got a few local Wichitans on staff, but we've got some other folks that have made their way through their sports careers, and we're very fortunate to have the folks that we have. And more than anything, we're fortunate to be here in Wichita, where it's such a passionate baseball community. And so we appreciate the support from everybody that buys a ticket and comes to the games. And we're looking forward to an incredible summer. And we hope that fans like the promotions calendar we've put together and enjoy the baseball that the Twins have put together.
Absolutely. It's great to have a team that, is an affiliate of a team, in the major leagues, because, I grew up going to games with my dad, and those memories I'll cherish for the rest of my life. Well, as long as I still have my memory, who knows when that's going to go. But, and going to the NBC World Series at Lawrence Dumont, just stuff like that. And so this is, for the next generation, it's great to have, and if you didn't know, the Wichita Wranglers, they are the Northwest Arkansas Naturals now. So when they come to town, make sure you root against them, even if they are the Royals affiliate. We're all friends here.
I agree wholeheartedly. Wind Surge first, and then you can root for them when they get to KC.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to thank Mr. Matt Hamilton for coming on the show. It has been truly my pleasure. This podcast continues to and do amazing things, and we have amazing guests coming on next week. We have Pat Strathman, ESPN Wichita personality, coming on, And we have the Friends basketball head coach Phil McClintock coming on as well to talk about March Madness. So we have great things coming. But on that note, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and peace out, everybody.